IGS is the working name for Intelligent Growth Solutions. We are a Scottish agri-tech company. We have headquarters in Edinburgh. We also have an engineering facility in Fife, and we have a demonstration farm and research facility at the James Hutton Institute just outside Dundee. We focus on indoor controlled environment agriculture. We started out growing leafy greens like lettuce and basil, but we've diversified that into other crops that you can grow. So we actually grow starter seedling trees in the facility here in Dundee. We grow edible flowers such as violas, and we work on seedlings for crops like strawberries and tomatoes. IGS has a slightly different approach to many agri-tech companies and many vertical farm companies. We provide the technology both to existing growers and new entrants into the market that they can develop farms that meet their business models, and we provide the technology behind that.
IGS are working on a really exciting technology, and the rate of improvement and the rate of manufacture has been at such a pace that actually the science is almost catching up. We know that plants will grow slightly differently under controlled environment agricultural conditions, and we know that they have their own natural microbes that associate with them, but we don't know how these different conditions affect those microbes.
We were continually being asked by customers about the food safety aspect of indoor farming and vertical farming in particular. Our growth towers are a very productive growth environment, and that means that they can be a risk for development of bad microbial elements as well as the good side of the crops that we're growing.
So what we wanted to do in this KTP was really look at where the microbes are, where they're coming in, how they change. Are there any that we need to worry about? Are there any risks associated with them? And then what we could do is we could put in a management plan that would actually be able to handle any of these risks, and that could then be used by any of the customers of IGS.
When we developed our initial knowledge transfer partnership with Intelligent Growth Solutions, we looked at various opportunities for funding. At the time they were at quite an early stage of development, and they needed a specific piece of work doing to understand their environment and to understand how their environment could be used to enhance crop quality and enhance crop growth. My research is about fundamentally understanding how plants develop and how the environment influences crop development and crop quality. I think we realised that this was going to be a reasonably long-term project, and it was something that the company were unable to devote any of their current resources to, so we needed to bring in a new resource. And we realised also that it would require significant transfer of knowledge from the knowledge base from James Hutton Institute into the company, and by far the best route to doing that was through an associate.
I was brought on board to evaluate the microbial hazards associated with growing food in this novel technology. The way we did this was through developing a risk framework, which basically looks at the technology, identifies the sources of different microbial hazards, and then ranks them in severity and likelihood. From this exercise, we were able to understand where there were knowledge gaps. This meant that I had to work with engineers at IGS to build mock scale systems of different compartments of the farm, so I could then take these mock systems into the laboratory to generate the data that we required for the risk assessment. So one of the things that I wanted to develop was a way of making the risk register, which is essentially a big Excel spreadsheet, into something that customers could interact with. I also built a prototype app that would allow customers to then interact with that data.
Effectively became a standalone app that a user could provide different inputs to, and that provided them with a red, amber, green type risk assessment of the food safety aspects of the way they wanted to operate their business.
I was really glad at the sort of end of my KTP that IGS decided to keep me on. I'm now a senior scientist here at IGS, and I'm looking at ways of productising the outputs from the research team. I also am building data capabilities here at the site, and in addition to that, I'm also looking at implementing a quality management system.
Elliott very much grew with the company, and that was a real benefit to us because they became the source of information for all things food safety as new members of the team joined.
I came from a purely molecular background, and through the KTP Development Fund I was able to learn 2 different coding languages. I was also able to take some industrial qualifications. These qualifications allow me to assist customers. It's really produced a stepwise change in my career path.
In terms of my own career development through the KTP, I took on this KTP with an engineering background rather than a science background, but it's given me the ability to talk at a different level with our head of science and our science team, and to really bring a link between engineering and science together.
Working with intelligent growth solutions through knowledge transfer partnerships has created fantastic opportunities for the James Hutton Institute. The whole area of vertical farming has become something that's more and more important and is seen by government as being important, and partly through that we were able to secure £27 million worth of capital funding through the Cities Deals schemes, which will allow us to build what we're calling the Advanced Plant Growth Centre at the James Hutton Institute. This will allow us to develop a whole new area of research around crop management, around indoor growing, around precision farming, and around developing crops that we require for the future, and hopefully will lead to many more research opportunities.
Having that support from the North of Scotland KTP Centre was really good for developing the idea, for developing the project. Towards the wrap up, I think it wasn't just a case of, there's the project finished, it's completed. It was right, okay, let's see how many added benefits we can get out of this project.
The team were really helpful to me as I took over the project and the supervision of it to help me get up to speed with what's needed on a technical level as well as the administrative level.
I just want to personally thank Emma for sending us the opportunity to apply for the National KTP Awards, and I was really happy to see that we were shortlisted.
What we can say is that the turnover of the company has increased tenfold in the last 2 years. Almost every contract that we have signed to achieve that growth has had a pretty significant input from the KTP. Without the knowledge that the KTP gives us and the assurance that can give to customers, probably a number of those deals wouldn't have come to fruition.
Knowledge Transfer Partnerships, or KTPs, are unique collaborations that drive innovation and create positive impact. Each KTP enables a forward-thinking business to partner with one of the UK's world-class knowledge bases. Together, they develop and deliver a strategic innovation project led by a talented graduate known as a KTP Associate. At least 50% of eligible KTP costs are funded by Innovate UK.